which Dara has seen.
Yes, I have seen. So nobody can shade me this week. I cannot be shaded this week. I am unshadeable.
Because why would you pick a show that you haven't seen? We go back for another episode of the ever exciting Phish Quips. Yes.
Pew, pew, pew,
Look at us on episode 3.
Episode 3, we're back. Yeah. After a slight mini hiccup last week.
Jesus Christ.
Want to tell them about the hiccup?
Since we always talk about, well, how was your week last week?
God.
So, a pipe burst, apparently, or something like that, a water main. And we had no water for like a day and a half. Yeah,
no water.
Close to 2 days.
The whole weekend. And we shoot on the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we mentioned in the last episode, we live in the same apartment complex. So yeah, my household was affected. Tommy's household was affected. The whole building was affected. We had no water, had to do a Sam's Club run and bring back water.
Jugs, yeah.
Yes, to get the water. And like, it was not cute, y'all. It was not cute.
Couldn't wash clothes, couldn't wash your body. Just like, Jesus Christ. That's the most uncomfortable feeling in the world.
Well, look, I'm from the Caribbean. I know to take a bucket bath. And I had to revert back to... Listen, it was...
You're from the Caribbean. I'm from the hood. Can't tell you how many times I had to boil some goddamn water on the stove, run and pour it in the bathtub, do it again.
And use the same bucket to fill the tank in the toilet. It was just a hot mess. And so,
speaking of hot mess, couldn't take a shite either.
I was gonna,
we're keeping it all the way real.
All the way real. But yeah, it was horrible. So
somebody's Kroger blowing it up.
Listen, no, it was bad. It was bad. And and then to make matters worse, we were all supposed to go out on Saturday evening. This thing happened on Saturday morning, and it didn't get resolved until late on Sunday night. Yeah. Right. Sunday night. And so, we were all looking forward to going out to this event at this place called Block and Drum. And
womp womp.
So when it came time for us to record, I was like,
we called each other and we're like,
I'm sticky. I don't feel good. And nobody has a working bathroom. So we're like, okay, we cannot record. No. And the weekend's the only time we have to record. Exactly. So we apologize profusely
again
for last week. Oops. But you know what? We're back.
Yes.
We have water now.
Yes.
We're clean. We have functioning toilets.
So fresh and so clean.
So we're back.
Yes. So what are we talking about this week?
This week we are talking about IT certifications and how study techniques that work well for IT certifications.
Yes.
And if you are new to IT and you're studying for your first cert or your first couple of certs, maybe we'll have a couple of tips for you that will help to make the studying a little bit easier for you.
That's kind of the plan. We want to make it, that's the whole point. Community is about accessibility, right? Because most people's fear when they get into cybersecurity is lack of mentorship. You don't know where to turn, you don't know where to start, and when you get started, you feel the overwhelm, which we covered in our previous videos. These tips that we're going to go over today are meant to help that, to keep you on a solid path forward, so you don't feel that overwhelm. And even if you do, you'll have something to get through it.
Exactly. So that's what our main topic is today. But before we talk about that, we are going to do our Cyber in the Wild section, where we're talking about the latest cybersecurity news, right? So this week we're talking about a hacker group called the Crimson Collective. They made a claim on Telegram that they had actually broken into 28,000, not 28, not 2,800, 28,000 of Red Hat's private GitHub repositories. And then they exfiltrated about 570 gigabytes of compressed data that included sensitive customer documents. It included authentication tokens. It included network maps. It was just a hot mess. And they did their big one with that.
And the sheer amount, 28,000, makes me think, well, damn, how long would you have to be inside that system to exfiltrate that much data? Like, you've had access to that system for a while and nobody knew it. So
yeah.
Or somebody knew it, conversely, because usually what I find with attacks like these, they come from the inside, or they're a byproduct of someone on the inside, who had access, mistakenly got, give it to someone by accident, sharing passwords or whatever, things like that. So, but yeah, I digress.
No, that's not digression. That's this is getting to the heart of the thing. Like, how were they able to get away with this? How were they able to do this? They stole 5 years worth of data from 2020 to present time to 2025, right? So these hackers knew what they were doing. So they got all of that data, and now I want to ask, like, did they only have read access to this data, or were they able to actually write to the repos as well? Because if they can write to it, then they can cause a supply chain issue, because now none of the GitHub pull requests can be trusted, right? Because it's probably, it's probably infected. It's probably tainted, right? So this news came out on Thursday or Friday of this week. And so up until the time that I'd read about, Red Hat hadn't even responded to requests asking them to confirm that a breach had occurred, right? And we don't know yet if Red Hat has, notified their customers that they might be potentially exposed to a breach. But what we do know is that Crimson Collective went on Telegram. They claimed responsibility for it. They also published online samples of the data that they had exfiltrated to kind of prove that they've done it. So yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, Red Hat got hacked.
Yeah, and the messed up thing is we're always the last to know. Like, with these types of attacks, if you don't seek out this information, they're never going to give it to you. Because the first thing they're going to do is, deny. They're going to say, oh, well, yeah, it never happened. Our systems are super secure. They didn't have access. And then they'll come back and rebuttal. They'll say, well, yeah, they did get access, but not full access, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll find out months down the line when you get a letter for, oh, yeah, there's been a class action settlement against Red Hat for, them type things, where it's already too late. Your data's already on the dark web. It's probably been sold multiple times, and you get like 30 cents in a paper check.
Yeah, it's a tough one, because the company when they do discover that this happens, their first priority is to stop the leak. They've got to stop the attack, right? So they've got to put all their resources in there, and then so it takes a while for them to like come out and be like, hey, yes, there was a breach, but we're already working on a fix for it.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where, yes, you have to let people know, but you also want to come to people and the public saying, hey, this happened, but we've already put a fix in place for it. So until that happens, they might stay quiet.
Yeah,
right?
That makes sense.
So I guess it's about CYA right now for them here. But then, as you said, the customers,
stop the bleeding, but like I said, we're usually the last to know. By the time it gets to us, the damage is already done.
Yeah, so that sucks for them. But that is this week's Cyber in the Wild cybersecurity news, right? Crazy. So now let's go on to our main topic, right?
Study hacks.
Study hacks. that work, right? I think everybody learns differently, and I can learn from people. So, please definitely drop in the comments below how you're studying, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked, what resources you're using, any tips that you have. Let's share. We're in this community to learn from each other, right? Exactly. But let's start with you, like, in terms of like studying hacks, like what works for you? Like, what type of learner are you, and how do you study best?
I'm a hands-on learner. So I've known that about myself since I was a kid. I like to be in the thick of it. One, because I like to know how things work from the inside. So for me, I like doing it versus just studying the theory.
Right.
Rote memorization never works for me. Yeah. It's cool for like multiple choice exams. You need a little bit of it, but for me, doing it makes it stick.
Yeah.
It's like building something versus, looking at a diagram of how it's built. I'm more of let me put the tool, let me put the hammer to the nail and actually do it. So I like the ones that put you in like scenario based things,
right.
and allow you to work your way through to a solution.
Right.
So like Hack the Box is one that I use a lot.
Yeah.
I like that one because it's fun and it's engaging.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, because I know that if I'm just sitting there listening to something, I'm going to tune out. Even if I remember it, it's not going to stick. When I get in front of the actual problem, I'm going to be like, oh, damn. Well, let me look back at this. Versus when I'm actually doing it,
right? And
you have to physically do. You'll remember it because even muscle memory at some point will come. But that's me. I like the ones where you work through your way through a room. It's like doing like escape rooms too.
Yeah.
I love those. I love escape rooms because they force you to think.
Yeah. On your feet, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my thing. That's how I study.
Yeah, I love me some Hack the Box. I love Try Hack Me as well. Those are pretty much my go-tos for, kind of getting practice. And then, YouTube is great because there are a bunch of labs that people will go through and you can do them alongside them, and then you get that practical knowledge there. Yes. So in terms of so that covers practical knowledge, but what about when there's information that for this exam that you have to know that is just kind of boiling down to just rote memorization? What do you do then?
That is where flashcards usually come in handy. I like to write things down too. I'm old school. Yeah. Sue me. I like putting pen to paper or pen to the paper, whatever. I find it kind of helps me remember it. Sometimes speaking it out loud for me helps as well. Right. Because I can hear the voice in my own head say, okay, I remember that part. Or I remember reading this part in the section and I wrote it down. So yeah, that I like to write things down. Right. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. For me, I'd like to write things down, but I tend to be super disorganized. And so I've had to learn how to learn, and I've had to put things in place to keep me organized. I have ADHD. I also have a learning disability. And so those things kind of could work against me, except for the fact that I took time to actually put a system in place for myself where it keeps all of my notes all in one place, and it makes it so that I have access to the information right there. I don't have to go searching in multiple places for it. It's right there. And so I created a second brain for myself. The second brain is this concept of like a digital note repository where all of your notes are kind of interlinked, and they're all in one place, and it helps you to not just memorize, but it helps you to kind of notice connections between things, and that can help you kind of build your own sort of theories about things and just expand your knowledge. And so for me, I use Obsidian. And there's a lot of different note-taking software out there. Man, there's so much. There's RemNote, there's OneNote, there's LogSec. Otter's
a good one too.
Oh, Otter AI. Yeah. There is oh my goodness, Notion, right? Which we're using right now for our notes, right? And there's just a bunch of them. I use Obsidian because Obsidian is offline. It can be 100% offline. So that means my data doesn't have to live in the cloud. And so I don't have to worry about, hey, if it goes down at some point, my notes might be not lost. You know, I store it locally, and I also keep a backup copy on my external hard drive.
Smart.
So I'm good to go, right? And so I use that. And then in terms of like techniques, I use spaced repetition for my flashcards. So I'll use Anki. There's an Anki to Obsidian plugin that you can use where you can import your Anki decks into Obsidian. And so I have all of my decks there. And spaced repetition really helps because it works with the forgetting curve, which is the point where you as a human are naturally going to forget a piece of information. It'll help you to recall that information just before that point. So that reinforces it and it pulls it from your short-term memory and puts it into your long-term memory.
I like that.
So I use that spaced repetition flashcards. I use the Feynman technique, which is where you either read your chapter, your module, or you watch the module video, whichever way you input your course information. Then you close the book or you turn off your video, and then you will turn around to another person or maybe a stuffed animal on your desk, and you explain that concept and you try to teach that concept to that person. Because the rationale is that if you can teach it, then you know it well enough to pass your exam, right? Exactly. So I'll usually do that. And I usually...
I think you were saying before, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I think you were saying before we started recording, we were talking about, you know, like giving yourself like an actual timer, like they would in the exam.
Yep.
Put yourself in the situation where, like, you know, treat it like you're in the actual exam, you know, give yourself a timer, give yourself, you know, how much time you want to spend on a certain thing. Do the hard ones first. I find that usually helps, or do the easy ones, get them out of the way, however you like to learn. Sometimes some people do it opposite, but I tend to do the harder ones first because I know they take longer. And on timed exams, that plays a big factor. You don't want to get to the end and then find out you're running out of time. You start rushing, you start guessing, which you never want to do, and, you know, just selecting anything because of that. Yeah. So I find having yourself in that mindset where you know, okay, I have 30 minutes for this section, and doing it like that helps. Yeah. It'll help to ease your anxiety when you're actually in the exam. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Doing it under timed conditions is perfect. It sets you up for success when you're there. I also set a percentage kind of target for myself. So if an exam, if it's like 80% to pass the exam, I will work on practice exams and with a goal of getting 85%. Because I know that if I get 85%, and I do that several times, if I do like 3 or 4 practice exams and I get at least 85 on each one, I know I'm pretty much guaranteed that I'm going to pass the exam, right? So I like to set my target a little bit higher than what the actual pass mark is. Like so it just helps to keep me relaxed, and so I don't get nervous. I know, hey, I made 85%. A bunch of times. Yeah. I'm okay now to sit and write this exam. I'll be all right. Okay. That's crazy. I learned that method actually when I was studying for the driver exam. Okay. Funny story. Because in California where I took it, there was like 6 versions of the test. So even if you California's. Okay. Well. There were 6 versions of the goddamn test. So I went in there all cocky, thinking I knew all the answers to this one version. And I missed 15. Wow. Yes. Walked out with my head like a deflated balloon. It's very unfortunate. I'm over here telling everybody, I'm about to get my license. And yes, you about to catch me rolling around here. Fail. I said, boy, she put it through that machine and it tick, 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 tick. I was like, oh my God. It's so embarrassing. People sitting behind me just watching like, that's what your ass get. Yeah, I said all that to say.
But you passed it the next time.
I did.
Right?
The next time I passed it because I was less cocky.
Right.
And I studied different versions of the exam. So as many resources as you can study, do that so that you're prepared for any curveballs they try to throw you on the actual test.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, just doing those practice exams is crucial. So how I normally do is that I start out by watching the video series. I love to watch videos. That's how I learn best. It's not always possible. Not every exam will have a video series for it, but most of them do. So I will watch all of the videos in the series. While I'm watching, I'm taking notes. Well, I'm not really taking notes. I'm actually making flashcard notes. So in Obsidian, you can write your notes in a way that actually translates it directly into a flashcard. So I'll do that so that by the time I go through the whole series, my flashcard deck is done, right? And then after I've done that, now all I'm doing is I'm drilling flashcards. And then probably about a week or two before the exam, all I'm doing is practice exams, just drilling the practice exams. I get as many practice exams as I can get, and then just drill those and do those one by one. And if there's anything on the exam that I get wrong, I'll usually pull that out and put that into the flashcard deck as well and drill those so that by the time I'm ready to sit that exam, my memory is on lock.
Exactly. And you're far more confident when you sit down to take it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So my tip to add to that is just exactly what you said, though. That's a great tip. Take the areas that you struggle with most and then focus the majority of your time on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, and another tip is the blurting technique.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a pretty good one where every time you watch a video, you turn the video off, or you read a chapter about a particular concept, close the book, and then you write down everything you can remember about that topic in mind map form on a blank sheet of paper. You use one ink color, and you just write everything down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go over the video again. You might put it on 2x speed or 1.5x speed so that you just kind of speed through. And anything that you realize that you missed on your blurt sheet, you now take a pen of a different color. I usually use orange or red, and you write that down. So if you've missed something or if you got something incorrect, you correct in another color. And then you do that blurting. I usually do it 2 or 3 times in a row. And usually by the 3rd time, I can write everything down on the sheet. It works really well. Yeah. So it works with like mind mapping. I'm a visual thinker, and so mind mapping works really well with me. And then using the blurting technique and plus the mind mapping, it just really helps to visualize that concept,
I like that. Yeah. And sometimes what I would do similar to that, but instead of writing it down, I'll speak it. Like stand in front of the mirror or sit in front of the camera, and just speak the information to myself as if I was interviewing. And that's actually a good interview technique as well, because sit down in front of a scenario-based question and ask yourself what you would do in this scenario. Right. And then since you've been studying, you're able to speak to it, if that kind of helps it stick as well. Yeah.
So that's pretty much like the Feynman technique too, right? But it's just instead of teaching to somebody else, it's teaching it to yourself,
like, right? Exactly, looking in the mirror, like speaking it to yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So those are like our tips for how we are studying for certifications. We'd love to hear any tips that you all have. Yes. Do you know what type of learner you are? What works best for you? What didn't work? Like, please, write it down. Yeah.
Because we have struggles too. Even with these techniques, it's still hard to remember everything. So
yeah. So. It's a lot. Cybersecurity is like drinking from a fire hose, which we've said before. It's a lot of information, and my whole thing is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You just take the information in small chunks, review them, and then move on to the next. And it's helpful, right? Yeah. So those are our tips.
Yes.
And so now, what do we have?
My fun part of the I love this part because I'm really big on pop culture,
right?
And movies and music, and these are kind of what got me into cybersecurity. Like, always piqued that interest. So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies, The Matrix. Yes. Which Dara has seen.
Yes, I have seen. So nobody can shade me this week. I cannot be shaded this week. I am unshadeable.
Because why would you pick a show that you haven't seen?
Well, because look, there are only so many movies out there, and I have not watched them all, but the ones I haven't watched, you would have probably watched, and vice versa, right? So then we could cover more, we can kind of cover more ground. But this week, I have watched the movie.
She's watched it. When did you watch it? Because it came out like 26 years ago.
A few years ago. I've watched it twice, right?
God, that movie's old.
The movie is old. It's old.
Which means I'm old because I can recall sitting in the
you're old. I mean, well, we established that last episode.
We did, and then I rebutted.
Anyhow, so I don't know, but
So explain to them what The Matrix is.
Right. So The Matrix, right? So we're looking at cybersecurity references in pop culture, right? Yes. Talking about The Matrix. So The Matrix kind of represents like a closed system of control, right? It's like kind of a metaphor for surveillance capitalism, right? And so we've got the red pill and the blue pill, right? The red pill is for people who want out of the system, who see the system for what it is, and so they want out of it. But for the people,
you have the blue team, which I'm wearing blue, so I guess that'll be me.
That'll be you.
Are the ones who are hopelessly dependent on that system,
right? And
fight to protect it. So they're on the side of the machine versus the side of humanity. So, yeah. And it's kind of like real life a little bit, And The Matrix represents kind of like what AI does. Like when you tell AI something, it's AI's interpretation of what humanity should be.
Exactly.
That's The Matrix. The Matrix at its core is the machine's interpretation of humanity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, so when we're looking at this movie and we're looking at the cybersecurity references, did you know that The Matrix is like kind of the first major film to actually accurately depict a hacker using actual hacker software, like Trinity, when she was using the Nmat port scanning tool, right? That was like the first time in a major film that they had actually been really accurate about what it means to be a hacker. And then after she uses it, right, then she kind of scans and probes for open ports, and then she exploits like a vulnerable secure shell service, right? And these are things that, really get done, right?
Yeah, like this stuff really happens.
Yeah.
And one of the major plot twists in the movie is what we like to call in cybersecurity an insider threat. Someone named Cypher, he was a character who was a part of this. He was a part of the real world. He took the red pill. He joined the side of humanity, but he didn't actually want to be there. Like he got tired of it. He didn't want to eat the same nasty food because there was no stakes or anything like that anymore. He wanted to live in the facade. Like he wanted to go back into the system.
Because that's more comfortable for people,
that's more comfortable. Exactly.
So
people are more comfortable being sheep than, actually doing things and leading a charge to something positive. Exactly. So what he did was he struck a deal with the enemy, which was the AI, the machines, to reinsert his body in exchange for access to the human city, the last human city in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, The Matrix it's still spoken about today. It was like one of the biggest movies of all time. Like I loved it so much. I don't ever really watch movies more than once, and I watched The Matrix twice. Because there's so much meaning in behind there.
Yeah.
But then where cybersecurity is like specifically concerned, I mean, Neil was like a software engineer by day and a hacker by night. I think they actually did a pretty good job.
I think so.
Of how they depicted it. Yeah. Let us know what you all think. You know,
talk to us.
Yeah, let us know.
And give us your recommendations for the fish tank for the next episode or any upcoming episode. Just give us a movie or a TV show or an experience of your own that you want to talk about, and maybe we can discuss that as well.
Exactly. We would love to get your comments and just any thoughts on this episode. We would really love to hear from you. So please reach out to us.
Yes.
And as per usual, you can follow each of us. You can follow Mr. Neophyte1 on TikTok.
Instagram, Threads. It's all the same username.
Right.
NEOFYTE.
Right.
And the letter one. The number. The letter one.
The letter one.
We leaving that in there too. Don't edit that out. Don't edit it.
No, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that.
Make sure I bet you I remember that. I don't need a flashcard.
The letter one. I'm gonna get some t-shirts.
Wow. My Sesame Street.
I love it.
Would kill me right now.
So follow him at Mr. Neophyte #1.
Yes.
Right? On all platforms. You can follow me on TikTok at dara.stays.curious. You can also follow me on Substack at Dara Stays Curious.
Oh, yeah, I have Substack too.
You can also follow me on Instagram at Dara Stays Curious. So follow us.
You have an art page too, don't you?
Huh?
Your art page, don't you have an art page?
I took that down.
You take it
down?
down?
Talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
You know what? Maybe in our next episode we'll talk about some of the stuff we get up to when we are not studying cybersecurity. Give you a little glimpse into that. Yeah,
because we're some multi-hyphenated people.
Listen, well, I thought I was multi-hyphenated. This gentleman over here, this gentleman is definitely, yeah.
And I just did a post about that the other day. I was like, I feel so constricted. And then my brain will start to do that. If I'm only doing one thing for too long, my brain will be like, yeah, I need to do something else.
Right. Well, look, humans are multidimensional creatures. We're not all one thing, right? You know? Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a UX designer and I'm also studying cybersecurity. When I tell people
bass. She plays bass.
A little bit.
She loves music.
A little bit.
She's a collector extraordinaire. Y'all can't see it, but I can. She has a hell of a music collection and I'm jealous.
Listen, I love me some vinyl, you know. To the point where I'm not really allowed into record stores by myself unsupervised because it's a problem because I will walk out with about 10 pieces of vinyl like very easily. So
yes, and I think your birthday we took you. Yes, we surprised you and took you to the record store. Listen,
you have got friends that know the way to your heart when they, for your birthday, take you record shopping and let you choose a record. I was so touched. Yeah. I was so touched.
Oh, she saw her face. She lit up like a Christmas tree. I was like, oh, yep, we got it right.
I was clutching that record.
I have that picture too.
It's bad. Anyhow, we are digressing a little bit.
Yes, we are. We're ranting.
But we want to say thank you so much for joining us on episode.
See, that's what you get. me and my letter one.
It's contagious. It's because he did it. That's all.
That's what we get. But anyway.
So episode 3.
Yes, 3.
Episode 3 of Phish and Quips. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next video.
Yes.
Take care.
Peace.
All right.